Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is King Manye. I'm the leader and the captain of my destiny, and I do succeed because I believe I will. For those of you that are new to the page, I was released from prison May 19th, 2022, and I created this page just with the intentions to try to shed light and tell my story about, my crime, my mentality, and the conditions that I dealt with while in prison. And I do all this with the intentions just to shed light on the conditions of prison and to encourage those to never come to prison, never walk this life, and to try to end mass incarceration, to try to prevent as many people as possible from taking that route and making that decision to go into prison. And so I tell these stories. I don't fabricate. You know what I'm saying? I just tell it as it is. If you like this channel, you like something you hear, go ahead and give me a like, put the thumbs up, and even subscribe to the page and put that notification bell on so that you can get any content that I drop. And so this right here, this me sitting up here telling these stories, it's about more than just me. This is about a common prison experience. This is about the same experience your brother or your sister's baby daddy, your uncle or your father maybe have experienced. Um, Today, right now, I want to talk about jealousy in prison and how it can cause you to become in a dangerous situation, and it can possibly cause you to lose your life. Uh, now, I guess I'll start back at Ironwood Prison, 2018. I was at Ironwood State Prison. That's a prison. It's a level 3 yard. And I'm new to the prison, but I remember seeing a sign on the glass to the tower, the glass tower, and the sign read something like this. It said, if you want to knock off your competition, then go ahead and drop a kite. And so I asked the homie, I said, what does that mean? He said, well, that's the goon squad. They put those flyers up all throughout the prison because so many people are competing, selling drugs, and so many people are dry snitching, dropping kites to knock off their competition. So they put the sign up as a joke, but it's really not a joke because that's really how people operate. That's really what they're doing. I said, what? What kind of shit is that? That's crazy. And I kept a mental note of it. Now, for those of you that don't know, in prison and in jail, a common rule, a common policy that used to be really enforced and has become real lax, meaning that you don't see it enforced, but you still do see some of those inmates still practice it and do it, is whenever you are putting a piece of mail inside the mailbox, or whether you're turning in a sick call slip to put it inside the mailbox, anytime you're putting some type of note or any type of written documentation into a box that's going to the prison administration, whether it's the nurse, the chaplain, whether it's mail going to your family, you are supposed to have your cellie, your roommate, or somebody, your friend, somebody verify what you're sending out. They're to verify it. And the reason they're to verify it is to keep the integrity of the prison and of your car, to make sure that you're not dry snitching, basically. In layman term, they want to verify what you're sending out. So that way you're going to be accused of dry snitching, dropping kites on people. They call that dropping kites. So, for instance, if you was to put a sick call slip, say you need some medical attention, you put a sick call in the sick call box. Well, before you put it in the box, the best thing to do is to have your cellmate, your roommate, look over it. Now he's just looking just to verify, just to say that, you know what, he knows everything that's going on with you. He may or may not read the whole thing to see oh, what, you got athlete fees, or oh, what, you got a jock itch. You know, he may or may not be reading the whole nature of the issue. He's basically just scanning over it to make sure that you're not giving up a tip, an anonymous tip, or you're not having an anonymous cry out for help. People do that in prison. People do that, and because the prison system has, like I say, has become relaxed. And do not be confused to believe that it's just on certain yards. Most of the prisons I've been to, there was this problem of so many snitches, so many informants, so many people just dropping anonymous tips and kites just to get somebody out of their way, whether they didn't like them, they felt threatened by them, or they was just competition. So, and this is practiced by gangsters all over. I mean, gangsters, they doing this shit. How do I know? I'll tell you a story. I was at Ironwood, right? And I'll tell you about the homie named Smoke. Smoke was a power rule. He was a homie, and he does tattoos. He's the tattoo man for the blacks. And so he has all, you know, in prison, blacks can only get tattooed by blacks. Mexicans can only get tattooed by Mexicans or whites or whatever, however they work. All I know is at that time, blacks were only allowed to get tattoos from blacks. And so blacks were only allowed to tattoo other blacks. So that was the clientele, the business stayed within the black community. Then we'll focus on that piece. And so it was rare when you ran across a brother who knew how to really tattoo. And so all the clients, everybody in the prison basically went to Smoke to get the tattoos. He was bubbling. He was getting his money, right? And one day, there was another guy who came who knows how to tattoos. It was a brother. And we're just going to call his name Joe. Joe came. Joe knew how to do tattoos. And Joe was a lot better. And he had a better price. Now, even though Smoke had been on this prison yard longer, even though Smoke had all the clientele, basic economics is you're going to pick the better product for the cheaper price. And so that's what everybody did. Everybody began to start getting tattoos from Joe instead of Smoke. Now, Smoke was my homie, and I don't like to think that nothing foul about none of my homies, you know, but I'm not blind to the nature of the game, meaning how slick and conniving people can get, or how low down, dirty, shame people get. And so I remember one time Joe was tattooing on one of Smoke's previous clients. He's tattooing them, and all of a sudden, the Goon Squad, which is the police, a certain special unit, they run in on Joe, and they catch him in the act of doing the tattoo. They handcuff him, handcuff the other guy that's getting the tattoo, and as they search Joe, they find narcotics, drugs, and paraphernalia, stuff like that. So they take Joe to the hole. And when Joe goes to the hole, the rumor gets around that somebody dropped an anonymous tip on Joe's tattooing. Somebody dropped a tip that Joe was going to be in the chapel giving a tattoo. So the police came in there and got him. So who would have possibly wanted to get Joe out the way? Who would have possibly wanted to drop a dime on Joe? When Joe was the new tattoo man, Joe had the cheaper price. Joe was the better tattoo artist. So who would benefit from removing Joe? Did somebody drop an anonymous tip, or did Joe just get caught slipping? That's the nature of prison. I just proposed that question. Like I say, I never want to think negative about my homies, right? But I give you another one. There were times when you will see a certain individual have a hustle, certain hustle, like say making Pruno. The Pruno man on the yard or on the tier. Everybody goes to get the Pruno from him. You know what I'm saying? He's consistent, which means he has it every weekend. He has Pruno. He knows when the police are coming to search. He knows he got to make it on Wednesday right after the search. And he knows he has 3 days to make it or however long. And he knows it's going to be fire. He got clientele coming. Never gets caught. Never is a problem. Cell never gets searched and gets caught with it. And then one day, say there's somebody, I watch somebody else come on the tier and begin to make it. They begin to make Pruno. And what do you know? Competition breeds jealousy. In prison, competition breeds jealousy. So one man may be doing it to make a hustle. Another man may be doing it to survive. And both may be a hustle, but for one, this is all he got. You know, there's some people in there that this is all they got. They got life, and they feel like, you know what, I got to protect my livelihood. And so in this instance, me dropping a dime, anonymous tip, is permissible. And they don't say that out loud, but the actions say it, because sure enough, I've always watched people who had a consistent hustle, who never got caught. But anybody else that came and tried to be their competitor got knocked off, all of a sudden got caught. Was it because they got caught because they were game goofy? Or was it that they got caught because the block was already sold up and they dropped a dime on them? They dropped an anonymous tip. I remember I was talking to this nurse one time when I was in the nurse. It's this black sister. You know, we talking real cool. She from my city, and she just talking like a regular sister. And she tell me one thing. She said, you know what, you won't believe how many people in this yard is snitching. You won't believe how many times I get sick call slips with people writing notes, writing tips on where the drugs at, where the phone's at. Jealousy is real, man. In prison, people do that shit. If you got a cell phone, jealousy, people drop dimes on you. If you are somebody that's trying to politic, maybe you want to stick to the old rules. Maybe you want to enforce the rules. Maybe you make their presence feel threatened. Jealousy. What is jealousy? Jealousy is a feeling of, I fear that you're trying to take something from me. I fear, and so the difference between jealousy and envy is, one says, I fear you're trying to take something from me. And the other one says, I see something you got and I want it. So that's the difference between jealousy and envy. And most people in prison are jealous to the sense where they got something and they don't want nobody else to have it. They don't want to let you know about it. I used to watch guys who would hold information dear to them. They wouldn't tell a person, like as though if they told them, it would take away from them. Like a new law passed, but and it can benefit the majority of the people. But this selfish motherfucker, hold it to himself. Why? Because he feels like, this is my knowledge. This is my information. If I tell everybody, then they're going to do it first and it won't work for me. We got to let that go. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to paint out about procedures in prison, how it's required that you always have somebody verify any type of mail you put in a box, or any type of communication between you and law enforcement, any type of communication between you and even your family, whether it's anything written. It was always best to have somebody verify it that way. You'll be cleared in case somebody accused you of dry snitching, or that way you'll be cleared in case all of a sudden you send something out and then the cell, the dorm get hit, or the unit get hit, the module get hit, and everybody's looking at you. They replay in their mind. They become suspicious and say, well, this fool did just put something in the mailbox. He's always putting stuff in the mail. He's always sending out mail. Because you got people in there like that, man. They watch every move you do. and they waiting to accuse you. So as far as the tattoo man, he continued doing his tattoos. All his clientele came back to him, and he raised the prices, but they had no choice to what the fuck with him. As far as the Pruno man, he kept on selling his Pruno, and that's the way it goes, man. And so either one of them, I can't say, uh, I can't say with proof that either one of them was dry snitching, but I can say that it was mighty suspicious, you know, and to that's why it's important in prison to prevent that suspicion. You stick to the rules, man. Stick to the script, and that is how you're gonna live when you go to that penitentiary. So listen, I'm King Monye. I tell these stories just with the emphasis to shed light on the prison and the prison condition. I hope that if you're listening to this, that you hear something that can help you kind of shed light. Go ahead and hit the like, comment, subscribe, share. It's not easy always to sit up here and create content, especially content that I feel is beneficial. You know, everybody may not be aware of these certain type of policies and protocol of the prisoners. There's severe consequences for people who don't follow these protocol. There used to be, and there still is, between specific groups. Like I say, it got real lax, and I'll say that in regards to the brothers, the blacks, as far as on some of the yards that I was on. Now, even though it wasn't, I don't know if it was or wasn't required. It was something that I always practiced. It was something that I always did. But I did see people that didn't do it, which means I'm saying I seen people who did put stuff in their box and nobody verified it. It didn't appear nobody verified it, and they were black, and I didn't see nobody press on them. But I know as far as the Mexicans and the whites, they automatically they do that. They always got somebody verifying their shit from what I seen, especially on those active yards. And so that's just a little food for thought, man. I'm King Monye, man. The King Monye, leader and the captain of my destiny. Y'all go ahead and support my page and put your thumbs up. All right, man. Peace.